Pieces of Forever concert. I'm the interviewer Marvin. I'm here with 5 talented artists, and they have talents in many different trades. We're here to hear about more of what they bring to the table and what music means to them. I'm here with RaGeen, Washington, Octavia Sydnor, Zachary Clark, Jean Rudisill, and don't look at me. So it's like, I want to say the last name right. Jean Rudisill. Jen Rudisill, and Darius Hagens. I'd like to ask all of you, what made any of you get involved with music? Why? What's your why?
I just thought it would be fun to play violin. Like, they just offered it when I was in 3rd grade and thought it'd be cool, so I started.
I wanted to play it, I remember being like 4 years old and seeing someone on TV playing, and I just thought it was the most beautiful sound. So I bothered my mom until I was in 3rd grade and could actually play violin in school.
Now, do you remember who you saw playing?
I don't know. I don't. I just remember seeing somebody and I was like, hey, I want to do that. It's really amazing. So.
I mean, I feel like my life has movie moments. Like, I remember the first time I said I want to play this instrument. Music was actually in our family. Like my dad sings, so he always had music playing in the background. My sisters, my brother, and even now, like, we're still in different areas of music. But that was something that was kind of always there. It wasn't necessarily that we were gonna. I didn't actually say I was gonna be a violinist. I thought I was gonna be like Whitney Houston, and it didn't happen that way. But as time progressed, I remember being in, I think it was the 4th grade. We had an assembly, normal, and they were just coincidentally they were doing the strings. And like I said, I remember it clear as day. I almost remember where I was sitting at the gym. They had an assembly, and the girl, it was one specific girl, she sat there and she was playing, and she was playing the violin, and she must have been like the teacher's like secret weapon, because she was playing the violin, and she got up, she put her shoe down, and she switched to the cello. I was so excited. I was like, oh wow, I'm gonna do that. I'm still a student. My major is in music. I am a teacher at St. Louis Catholic Academy and a violinist in the University Orchestra. And I also am an in Unison Scholarship recipient at St. Louis Pi Symphony Hall.
I also go to UMSL, and I'm a performance and business, and I play in a band.
Okay.
And I play viola at school, and I've been playing classical viola for like 16 years or something. And then I play fiddle in my band. So.
How long have you been playing fiddle in your band?
We just started a little over a year ago. So.
What's your band's name?
Amen, Lucy, Amen. It's kind of a little punk sort of.
That's very good. What about you, Octavia?
I'm an also student as well, and I play violin too. And I've been playing violin since I was 8, so for about 13 or so years. And I volunteer with Orchestrating Diversity and in their jump program, which is really fun. And I'm enjoying it, and I'm near the end. So.
Good.
How about you, Zach?
Well, I'm an actor. Been acting for 7 years. Been modeling for 3, and just trying to spread my wings as far as they can go, from behind the camera and in front of the camera. I love being in front of the camera. Love music. It affects me day to day, my entire lifestyle. I mean, I got my own theme music playing in my head. Anytime I'm shooting a scene, I think about the music that goes along with it. It's just...
Now, I want to touch on that. That would be called the score, right?
Yeah, the scores of movies.
So how important is that to the movie?
I mean, to me, it's like yin and yang. You know, everything goes hand in hand because there are a lot of scenes or a lot of movies, period, that if the score wasn't what it was, the movie might be boring. And it'll take a scene that could be nothing and make it magical. So I really appreciate what it does to the film and what it does to the character, how it can make someone that's maybe the bad guy or the antagonist into someone more menacing.
That's interesting. Because Darius, didn't you say you're a producer as well, I believe?
Yeah, so, the funny thing about it is I approach my music in the same way that you would approach a movie score because you have to be able to create a visual with the music. Without that visual, it kind of limits you to that moment. So you can have something that's trendy, but if you create something that's timeless, like I look to capture more of emotion than anything. And when you capture the emotion, like our emotions never change, We're always going to feel this. Somebody's going to be feeling this emotion at some point. And if I can capture that in that 4 to 5 minutes of that song, then it allows me to create something that I know will last. And it takes a song, whether it's something personal or something that's supposed to be, something to dance to, but it elevates it that much more because it should be in a movie. Because that's what's in my head. That's the visual that I see for it. I always think, how would the video go for this song when I'm making it? And if I can't see a visual for it, I don't want to make it because it's not good enough. That means I'm not telling a good enough story. And that means that the music is just music as opposed to a soundscape almost.
As the five of you sit here, I wanted to ask you guys, as being artists, what personally inspires you for your craft? What gives you that pure inspiration that every time you go to that place, it gets you to put out what you need as an artist?
We were at the Palace, and they used to have...
The Palace?
I'm serious, this is where music started for me. They had at the Palace camps, the summer camps, they used to have, what's that?
The lock-in?
Talent show. No, not the lock-in. That's another story. But they used to have the talent show at the Palace. So every week I would go up to do my talent, and I would always break dance. But more importantly than break dance, I would do the robot. And that would be like, I would never win. Apparently I was horrible at it. But that was like the first when I was like, music really affects me because every single week I would get up and do the robot and lose. And then either my family or friends or non-friends would be like, you're not going to do the same thing, are you? And I'm like, no, I got something different. And then the music would start, and yeah, I would lose. It was horrible, but that was like the first time music got me, and it never stopped.
What really, really got me interested in music, though, was the fact that I love poetry so much. I love words, and I love when they rhyme. Like, there's something about it. Like, your brain is able to remember those things because it's not just like me telling you this. Like, right now, you won't remember what I'm saying verbatim. But if I put it into a song form, you can remember it. And that's the part of it, like every song has poetry in it. So that was the part that got me into it because I would just listen to the words. Like I wanted to hear what people were saying. And then as I got further into it and learned how to produce and things like that, it made it where like the technical side of it, I understood that more. So they go hand in hand now, which gives me a lot of creative freedom because I can take a song anywhere. Because it's like I'm putting it together myself. I don't have to worry about like somebody handing me music and then I have to create something around that. I can just have an idea about something, take that, and then from there, grow however I decide to grow. Because I think a lot of time, like for hip hop artists, we get boxed in and sometimes we do it to ourselves. But I never wanted to allow that to happen. So like, the older I've gotten, I've listened to more music because I start to understand it differently. like some music used to sound like noise. You know, it's like I couldn't make out the different parts of it, but now I can hear everything, and it's like, oh, okay, I can appreciate it now because I understand what it's supposed to be doing. And then now I'm at the point where everything I listen to, I study it.
My motivation, I mean, it was really just always to get better. Like when I was younger, like I said, yes, I started young. I was introduced at a young age, but it was always it was always me who had to like push myself and wanted to get better. You know, has made me a better musician because now, you know, I see a difference in myself when I first came. And small stuff like that, you know, now makes a difference. Like, you know, things you didn't know, you know. I think when I was a freshman, I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be. I just knew I wanted to get better. You know. So my takes on education would be, I feel like they're trying to make things all about just books, and they're taking it like music and art is not an education. And it's so far from that. You know, they actually have people who play at Slough Hospital. There are violinists and musicians that come and play while cancer patients are going through their treatment. You know, I've heard through the grapevine that music therapy is becoming very popular. Unfortunately, you don't miss a good thing until it is gone, just completely. I found that there are a lot of big advocates for music in Missouri. I mean, you look at it for what we have. A lot of our things, the museums, our exhibits, a lot of them are free. Whereas when you go out to California and you try to go in there and go visit something for free, and they say come again because it's not going down. A lot of these things we take for granted because we've been here all the time, you know. But it's just a way to show you that people. It does move people. It does bring something to your life. You know, that's what music does. So why wouldn't that be something that you would want to keep in a school setting? You know?
I mean, I think the reason we need to keep music in school is just because it's everywhere. Like, music is everywhere in our lives. Even if you know nothing about music, like, it's all over. It's in the stores, it's in elevators, it's in commercials, it's on TV, it's in your head. Sometimes you're bored, you just start whistling. It's everywhere. Yeah, and same with art, and it's just like,
If art didn't exist, there would be so many just like pent up angry people.
it's like everything is connected. Like, it's not just music connects us to like our academics, and you know, it's like music is connected to math, which is connected to science, which is connected to art, which is connected, you know, everything is connected. Yeah, so it's like we have to have that as an option to study as children because it's such a huge part of our world.
Do you feel a responsibility through your craft for those generations that come upon you?
I do because kids are so easily molded, and because of that, let's put it like this, my goal is not to like be a role model for kids, but when I do become a role model for kids, I have to be aware of that. I can't just detach myself from that and say, well, that's not my job, I'm not trying to do that. So, but it's like I have millions of kids listening at this point. And if I just let them go and I'm feeding them nothing but adult topics, I can't expect them to not do adult things. So it's like I have no choice but to be aware, and then also if there's all these issues going on in the world and I have information about them, I know about these things, and I know that I have information that will help other people. For me to not share that in some way, it is selfish on my behalf to not talk about them. Because of course, like, the controversy will always be there, but it's like, if my voice is going to be heard, I need to make sure that I'm speaking about something that's worthwhile, that's just not in the moment, because there are so many things that happen today that don't, who cares that all these people are paying attention to that thing as opposed to paying about, what about the fact that you guys aren't going to be able to eat in about a couple of years because you're not doing what you need to do, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not being responsible and understanding like what it takes to be an artist and all that type of stuff. You just look at, oh my God, as an artist, they're famous. It's like, that's not even true. Even the artists that you see all day, every day in front of the screens, like, they're trapped. So it's like, at that point, you have no choice but like to understand, like, my voice can be heard by billions of people. So if I plant one seed for something positive in all these people, I feel like I've done my job. You know, and if you don't do that, you didn't. You failed.
But it's kind of like everybody has a different view of like, because I mean, even people who are like rappers and just any kind of musician that's the subject of a song or something is very adult, you know, like it's just, or like controversial, it's still something they think is right, you know. No, I just, like, I agree with you.
Well, see, I guess ultimately what I'm saying is like, if I have an hour-long CD and there is war going on outside, and I don't address this anywhere along this hour-long CD, and that's the biggest issue that's going on, and I say that I care about this issue, I care about this thing, and if I never talk about that,
Right.
then if I know that all these people are going to listen to my album, they may not watch my interviews, they may not see me on TV, because like me, I don't watch TV. So I don't see interviews, I don't see all these things, but I will listen to your album. And if you give me that moment on your album, it's like, wait a minute, that's something I didn't know about that.
Gotta Google that.
Right, exactly. So it's like, now I want to watch TV, now I want to go to the internet, now I want to start reading some stuff about this issue, because it's like, that's something that I wasn't aware about. So it makes it where it's like, you don't have to be like an advocate for that thing,
Right.
but like at least talk about it so that the conversation is started, because it's something positive and it's open-ended.
Mm-hmm.
And by being open-ended, you get the chance to keep going with that conversation. It's never just going to cut off. You know, it's like the idea of how do we get the country back where it needs to be. We can talk about that for hours.
Yeah, see,
because
exactly.
there's not one solution for it.
Yeah, exactly. I
That's
think
my
what goes
point.
hand in hand with like social obligation is also you have to know that like a lot of people are going to disagree with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like
They're
I think
gonna contradict you, try to contradict you.
yeah, like my band, I mean, I don't write the lyrics, but a lot of the lyrics are very just controversial, but it's like stuff we all really believe. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, a lot of people would probably really disagree with it, but we think it's right, you know? So,
I think that, I mean, like, we may not necessarily be quote unquote teachers officially right now, but at some point we are going to be teachers or mentors or something to somebody. And we live in a society right now that we're, you know, if everything is hot right now, nothing really is. My job is not necessarily to, you know, let you listen to it, or, you know, my job is to give you your own voice, you know, let you think about it on your own level, you know, like you said, whether it be controversial. At some point, people are going to be looking at us and seeing what we're talking about or trying to understand, and, you know, it would be nice to just have that, you know, my job is to expose you not just to what you see, but to what you do not see. So, like you said, it could be as simple as, you know, having that one album or that one track that said, wait a minute, you know, I didn't know what is that we're talking about? That's important, you know, so yeah, I mean, just making sure it's exposure.
I think that's a really good thing for like not just rappers, but just like contemporary, like just artists, you know, not necessarily like a classical musician, I don't know, but, or like, I don't know, if you're writing your own stuff, I feel like that's a really important thing to like think about if that matters to you, you know.
And then, like, you know, even for singers, you know, especially, you know, like you said, everything is so provocative now, you know.
Gets the people going.
5 years ago, people, you know, were wearing skinny jeans. Now everybody's doing it because they saw saw one person doing it, and they were like, I like that. It became a trend, you know. You have to think about, you know, but you have to think about, like, you know, being the difference between being a child or an adolescent and an adult is looking at it for, you know, looking at these artists and saying, which one of these people are we really going to be talking about 30 years from now? You know, who's our Marvin Gaye? You know, who is, you know, who are we going to be listening to and saying, you know, this is someone you need to listen to? You know, he defined something. You know, we do that all the time. A lot of times, when we go into classes and we study music history, we're not talking about Puff Daddy. You know, we're not talking about these people in that asset, in that aspect.
It's no take that.
You know, it's not in there. You know, I mean, it might be.
Yeah, there needs to be a lot more of it because it's so relevant. It's so relevant. And it's just like, it's so important to learn about, you know, classical composers in 18th century Vienna. And, because that's where we come from. That's, you know, we stem from that, but when you talk about the stuff that's relevant.
And what's like I said, how do you decide like what's gonna be relevant 20, 30 years from now?
Yeah, and you can't be oblivious to the notion that little people pay attention. They're like, you know, kids see everything. I was very observant as a child, and I just think about moments like I took my nephew to a play. He's 6 years old and he knows I act. So we were at the play. He was like, "Oh, what's that? Are they acting?" And I was like, "Yeah, Mike, they acting." And he said, "I think I can do that." And I was like, I almost did, you know, but I toughened up. I was like, that's nice. But, you know, it's moments like that where I didn't just let it go. Like, I took notice of it and I nurtured that. And now he's signed with an agency. And it's like, you know, we run lines together. It's hilarious. He's 6 years old, and he calls me Batman. He's on Robin. I didn't come up with this. It's like, you know, he loves superheroes. He was like, you know, Zach, when we get older, I can still be Robin. And I'm like, well, you know, he was letting me know that I can always be Batman. I thought that was deep, you know, because he said he wanted to be in a scene with me, and I was like, you know, this is how you know. I never told him, you know, how much acting was important to me. I never told him how much, you know, stuff influences me, and yet it's doing it to him. You know, so you have to really take notice for the next generation that, you know, eyes are open and ears can't hear, you know. So if you want it to be passed on, you know, make sure it's something you want to put out there.
I wanted to ask all of you, because I love artists' journeys. I love people, but especially artists who have talent. I really want to know all of your guys' views of where do you see yourself 10 years from now with your craft? How do you see yourself right now, 10 years from today? Where do you want to be? How do you even see yourself being?
At the forefront.
Of what?
Mic dropping.
I mean, yeah, like, because here's how I look at it. Like, as an artist, like, people will never ever like treat you as the greatest forever. No matter who you are, like, you're gonna have a run. And like, the best thing is like, make sure that's during your prime, like when everybody's listening. So, like, I've planned my career that far ahead because I know that, like, with rap, like, you can't rap forever. Right. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, I wouldn't want to rap forever because you only have so many things you can say. After a while, you start to repeat yourself. Mm-hmm. So, because of that, I want to have produced, well, like, my own personal albums. I want 4 albums. I want 4 albums that I'll do, and that's it. Like, mainstream, that's it. Like, and I won't ever do an album again. But it'll be my best work. So it's like that catalog will be like something that's like memorable by
something
everybody.
You can live with.
Yeah. And like, I ultimately, like, I want to like help other artists. That's my thing, because I want to do artist development and like really, really solid production for people's projects. Because artists don't think past the next song.
Yeah.
Like they'll make a hot song and be like, oh, this is the greatest song ever. It's like, okay, you gotta make another one.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know,
one hit
and
wonders
for real,
do.
you know, and it's like if you can't create that song again, you're stuck with this one song that you've made and now you can't go further. So my goal is to like create that company that allows people to be able to understand who they are, understand their brand, and understand what their style of music means to their brand and how they need to move forward. So that's what I want to be doing in 10 years.
Okay.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately because, I mean, I've been going to school for music for 5 years, but I've been studying it for a really long time, and like, I don't know, it was always just kind of like school was always the next step for me, and now that I'm like, you know, about to graduate, and like, I kind of, yeah, like I was a music ed major for 3 years, and then I like started freaking out because I realized that I didn't want to do that, and like, I love performing, and I will always perform, but I just like, I was like, I need something to be my next step, and so I was like I kind of had like anxiety about it for months, and then I just like started exploring different paths in music, and now I want to be a music supervisor, which is someone who you guys were kind of talking about this earlier, like they work with directors in movies and like TV shows, and they like work with the composers also to put the soundtracks in the film, and they actually like license all the music, and then they actually put it into the movie, and they choose like the music to evoke whatever emotion, and like I've never been so like motivated now. Like, I mean, I've always been motivated to play, but like I finally found this one thing that's like
passion.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I would be perfect at this job. And I've been like, I work for a company out in LA, and I work from St. Louis remotely, and so I've been doing that for a year, and I'm just like, I'm like gonna move wherever I need to move, and like work with whoever I need to, meet whoever I need to meet, and I'm like, I mean, I'm doing a bunch of grunt work right now, but hopefully in 10 years, I will be out in LA or New York or somewhere doing that.
It's really similar to what I want to do, because I want to be a part of a bigger picture too. Like I want to play in a pit, or for movie soundtracks, for like artists' albums. That's definitely like, as far as performance goes, that's where I want to go. And as far as like really performing my craft. But even beyond that, like I feel that there's only so much performing and creating and composing that I can do before I feel like it feels selfish. And I definitely want to. Music for me has always been a weird therapeutic thing. Like the cliche saying, when music or when words fail, music speaks.
I like that.
It's like a middle ground of expression between emotion and words. It's like the middle ground of that. And I feel like just like working with people, just using music as a catalyst to just heal and be around people and bring others up. And I'm not exactly sure how I would do that, but I know that that's something that's going to be a part of my journey. So
When I think about 10 years ahead, I gotta think about 10 years ago, when I was practicing crying in the mirror for no reason. Yeah, this is before I even knew I wanted to be like an actor. I just was always theatrical, but not in a Geronimo way, just life. Like I lived my life theatrically. And I was practicing to be a good liar and all that. Forget that. But 10 years ago, I was always training for something that I didn't even know that I was gonna make a career. And now that I'm doing it, it just makes me think 10 years from now that one of my main focuses would be collaboration, because where I'm at now is more so of taking my own ideas and learning how to piece it together using other people's talent. Growing up 10 years back again, you start to think that, you know, you're Superman, you can do it all by yourself. You know, I don't have to pass the ball, you know. And now I'm at that place where I'm finally comfortable with sharing ideas, sharing, you know. As much as I love music, I don't play it that well. So I need people, like the individuals right here, to, you know, share their talents, to share their thoughts, to be like, you know, I think this will be more of an emotional cue. This instrument will sound more in depth to the situation than what, you know, than where your head was. Then I'm like, oh, you're right. That's a good idea. We need to do that. And, you know, or even taking the back seat. So collaboration, along with a steady career in acting, whether it be, I love movies, so film would definitely be probably my main focus. See, I'm gonna have 4 main films. That's it. No, I'll have more than 4, definitely more than 4, but
That's actually funny.
I'm gonna have a movie, summer movie. No, no, okay. But TV shows, I definitely see myself doing that. I'm not really afraid to go into any genre. You know, I'm up for anything, and you know, I want to conquer more than once, so I'll take it on as it comes.
Do you all have your own brand, or do you know your own brand, or what is something unique that you know you bring to the table for being an artist?
I would say I've been working on that for a while now, and I finally found it. My brand is called Smarter Music. What that means is the idea of martyrs, right? So you have these people in history who believe in whatever they believe in so much that they're willing to die for it, right? Somebody like Tupac, right? You just talking about him. Like, he knew he was gonna die. But he kept saying, like, I don't care. Because he knew it. You have your Martin Luther King, your Malcolm X, they get to a point where they understand, like, what I'm doing is I'm going to die for this. Not that I plan on dying anytime soon. Like, and this is what, for real, like, that's what brings that other part of this, like, because I do think in death, like, you become immortalized. But I think about the passion that it takes to die for something that you believe in. So I'm like, well, why not take that same passion that you would die for something, why not live for it? That just makes more sense. Like, I have more power in life than I do in death. Like, because I still can control what it is I say, what I want to do, and I can still influence people. So that's what my brand is becoming smarter music, like that idea of having something that you believe in enough to die for it, but living for it with that same passion. And it's shaping, like, me as an artist, because, like we were talking about, like, I have no choice but to start to talk about things that are relevant. I can't say that's my brand, but what I do not match up with that. So it's forcing me to refine what it is I do, because I do have a clear direction now. And it's not that I'll stay within one box and make nothing but conscious music, but it's like the overall message of what I want to do is clear. And that's what's going to separate me from other artists in my genre, because they're just making songs. They're not clear as to, like, what they actually are, like, what are you trying to tell me? When you're making an album, like, why should I care? Aside from the beat is nice, or because you have a catchy hook. What are you trying to tell me?
I don't know if I, like, have a brand, or, you know, I mean, I guess it's just, for me, it's just going to be, like, constantly developing or changing and progressing on itself or something. But, like, I don't know, like, I started listening to music when I was, like, 3 or 4. I had a record player, and I would, like, listen to my mom's old 45s and stuff. And then I started playing classical when I was, you know, 7 or 8, but I've never actually been I love classical music, but it's never been, like, what I listen to, like, in my free time. And I feel like I differ from a lot of classical musicians in that way, because, like, they'll be like, you don't know this, you know, Beethoven, no, I don't, sorry, like, I don't listen to it, but, you know, but, and I think that kind of does make me unique in a way, is because like I've been like trying to pursue other styles of playing, and I'm not saying that I'm the first string player to ever do that or go that route or anything, but you know, I feel like I've played with various bands of different genres, and I feel like that kind of, you know, if I was to have a brand, it would be that, you know, I'm versatile, and people see that in me and they like that, and I guess that's what I'm trying to continue to do, is continue to like expand my abilities.
I don't know. I don't think I have a personal brand, and I don't know if it's something that I think about, because when it comes to like the one thing that like makes me really Octavia, that makes like when my friends see me, or like they see something, I don't know, at the store that they think I would like, they'd be like, this looks very you know? That I know that in the past, things that were very me, like in high school, I was obsessed with the color lime green, and I liked wearing neon to school like every day. So I know that my personal brand, you know, now as an adult and as an artist, as a growing artist, my personal brand will be something that I grow into, and it'll just be something that I emanate.
My personal brand started with, my father, who was like a true person of not letting one thing hold you down. My father was a singer. He was he was a part of a group called the Migrations, and you know, he was one of those he was one of those singers, and you know, but he is my reason for my love of movies. So, you know, my brand will be forever expanding, and I just never want to be hindered. You know, it's like I can sing, but I'm not a singer. I love acting, you know, but I'm not just an actor. You know, I can write, I can, you know, so it's just one of those things, like, if you have talent, you know, I don't want to be a jack of all trades. It's good to be good at things, but I want to fully expand myself to know who I fully can be and am. You know, so my brand is everything I'm going to be. So I'm just working on me.
I mean, I think we all kind of summed it up. I feel like, you know, if you had said, maybe not even 10 years ago, you know, you're gonna be on the couch talking about playing the violin, and I said, what are you talking about? I don't play the violin, or I don't plan on doing it. I think that I have grown. You know, I see bits and pieces of myself in other artists. I do that. I think that's what I do with movies too. That's why movies touch me so much, because I see bits and pieces of myself and the things that I want to be, and the things that I am. I see it in everything that's around me. I've grown to appreciate classical music in ways that I never thought I would ever be able to, because I was so hip hop, or I was so into, you know, what was hot, and knowing that I am growing up, and my sound and my ear is maturing, I can look back at what I have done and say, you know, I've seen the fads, I've been a part of some of them, I didn't like some of them, you know, creating new trends. My brand, if I have one right now, I guess would be just being able to, I guess, educate people on, you know, not just that you found out that you're an artist. Now what are you gonna do with it?
You being an artist, I have to ask a question. Have you ever had feelings of defeat?
All the time. And that's a daily thing. Seriously.
Big old tubs of ice cream.
I feel defeated, like within myself, like not even just you're not supposed to compare yourself to others, like, and that's just like a life thing. You shouldn't compare yourself to others. But like even the fact that like my own internal conflicts, like I get mad at myself for having internal conflicts. So you know, but it's kind of it's the other side. It's the dark side of success. So.
What do you do to like counteract that feeling?
I don't know. I reassure myself that since I am a unique person, there's only one Octavia Sydnor. You know, I know that as long as what I'm doing is fulfilling for myself, that I'm winning. You know. So.
You have no choice but to push through it. Like, if I had $1 every time, I was like, this is. Did you hear her hit that egg? That was great. Like, you can't hit that. You know, it's just you. Every time for every good thing you see or you do in your own space, you got 10 people you might see that can do it, or even that you just know could do it better, or that can do it. It's more so you just have to push through it and know you're doing the best for you. And that's like you said, that's half the battle. It's a daily process, not just to get better and to find the music, to find the peace, but to find peace within yourself and understanding your own abilities and your strengths and your weaknesses. So,
like my freshman and sophomore year of college, I was like so close to just giving up music or like performing, because I mean I'd been performing all my life, and then I got to college and something just happened, and like I could not perform anymore because like I was just so nervous, and I would literally, like, it wasn't just like people would be like, oh, you're just nervous, like calm down. No, like I would go up there and physically not be able to like just produce a sound because I would be like shaking so bad, and then I would just be crying, and it was literally every single time I performed. So it was just like the most devastating thing as a musician, and then I don't know, I eventually just quit caring. Like not quit caring, but like I don't know.
Get to that
It's
point.
just, it's a change. It's almost like, you know, becoming a teenager or something. It's just that shift in, I'm better now at taking it
Yeah,
in. It's just,
and you start to realize like it doesn't really matter. Like you know what I mean? Like it matters to me, but they don't care. You know what I mean? And like, and you like, I am a good musician. You know, I just have to like, I have to quit worrying about it, and that really helped me. And now, like, I mean, I still get nervous, but I just like I don't really care as much, so I can actually like, I don't know.
I had that moment where it was just like, well, technically the worst has already happened.
Right, exactly.
You messed up. Everybody heard it. Everybody heard it. But they're not right, you know. And it's on camera because a lot of times in school they record our performances. So you know, if you messed up, I think I tripped on stage one time. I didn't bow when I was supposed to. Everyone bowed, and I was just like, okay. And I've done, you know, I've messed up already, and it's just like now it's like, oh, okay, so, you know, I messed up. Right. It's out the way now. Let's proceed to something else.
Yeah.
And that's everything. I've frozen up. Like I've had speeches, like we were just talking about that. Speech anxiety. I've done pageant shows, and I've gotten on stage, and you're like, yeah, I don't know who I am anymore. You lose on stage, and you have no choice. The reason I think that I did those, I've done some terrible things to myself, like, you know, just beating myself up about my performances. And I think you go through them so that you can say, you know, you kind of find out who you are when you mess up.
No, I'm glad you said that about losing yourself. As all of you are artists in different genres, do you find that threshold of where you're crossing over to where you're losing who you thought you were and becoming another person in your creative process?
Absolutely.
I'm curious about that.
The more you start to discover who you are just outside of art, it affects your art. Like, it takes it where your personality gets integrated into it. So, like, nobody else can sound the way I sound because this is my personality. So automatically, there's going to be some way I say my words or my intensity on a certain part of a song. Nobody else can get that because that's my emotions. So it's like the more you start to define those things, like your worlds just merge. It's kind of like the Clark Kent Superman thing. Like you just get to a point where it's like, how about I just be Superman? Like all the time. It's like, this is gonna work better for me. You know, so it's like you merge these worlds, and within that world you have the artist, but the artist is really an extension of the person.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the way I look at it now. So everything that I do, I plan it out because it's like I want it to be where you see me there. When you hear me speak, I don't want it to be like that don't even sound like you. Like when you turn my song on, I want you to like listen and be like, yeah, that's you all day. That's what you normally talk like. This is what you say you want. That's what you go after all the time. And it has to be able to connect because. Like, you know, these people like RaGeen and Zach, like they've known me for a long time now. So it's like when I'm talking about, you know, something that I've never done, like they like, you don't do that. I've never even seen you ever remotely do that. And it's like that has to come together. So it only happens though when you know yourself. You have to find yourself first. Until you find yourself, your art is gonna suffer.
Oh yeah.
It will continue to suffer because there's going to be something that's going to limit you. It won't allow you to let go enough to like fully experience it. Because like the thing is, I'm an actor as well. So like I've gotten on stage and like RaGeen said, and I've completely bombed a monologue with hundreds of people watching me, and it's just like the worst feeling in the world.
I feel like that process is like necessary though.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you have to have that.
Yeah.
Like it sucks, but it's like you grow so much, and that's how you find yourself as an artist, and that's how you find out what your strengths and weaknesses are and how to work with them.
These past 2 years have been like my most relaxing because before auditions, I used to like shake in the car, like with just nervousness, and you know you got the whole lip trembling thing. I used to do that, and it's, you know, you remember, it's like I would look at the script, I remember the lines, I remember what I'm supposed to do, and it's just like you said, you know, you get on stage, you know what you're supposed to do, and then
everything you worked for just goes away.
the wheels are spinning, but there's nobody there.
Right.
But these past 2 years have been really amazing as far as like how you said, something just happened where it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting to just understand after this audition is over, it's over. Like I don't go back or, you know, like they can't take away that moment. And I appreciate that because then you can fully realize that when I do this, I really don't have to care after it's done. I have to throw everything in it. It's just like what they say, like I remember when I ran track. You know, there's no second race. You know, you run the race full out and try to win. And if you're not falling out when you're done, you ain't do your best. So the only person you be mad at is yourself. And just like you were saying, Darius, I was thinking like, the moment you really know yourself, you have to then start to expand on who you are. Because that's how people, like, when they be like, you know, after this point, their albums wasn't really that good. That's because, you know, a lot of artists forget that you have to keep adding to that. You can't just stay yourself, you know, past, you know, 2 albums, because then how you make the next 2? It's like, they don't want 2 of the same, they want to grow with you. And, it's a growing process.
Yeah, thinking also. Like the more you get comfortable with who you are, you don't think. Like thinking is awesome for like concepting things, But like when you're actually in the process of being on stage or on camera or, you know what I'm saying, recording, if you're thinking, you're going to fail.
Oh, yeah.
In that moment, like you're actually thinking about the fact that I don't know this line, or I do not remember exactly how to get my fingers to do what I need them to do in this moment. And it's like that's what you're thinking about, so that's what's gonna happen.
I think before.
But the more like you can just get into it and live in that moment and just like breathe, like that's really what it comes down to. If you can breathe in that moment and just like let go, what happens is it comes out of you on its own. Like it's been times when I've been on stage giving a monologue, I'm thinking about something entirely different, but the words are coming out. Or I'm recording a song and I'm not looking at the lyrics. I'm just letting it come out on its own, and it's like it happens because I'm not thinking about it. Because you just have to trust yourself at some point to know that like you're a violinist, you're a fiddler, you're an actor, you're a violinist. That's all you can be. Like in that moment, like this is all I can do. Like I can't do anything else. I only know what I know.
Yeah, like I have
That's
the
it.
most hilarious commentary going on in my head when I'm performing, like especially classical, because I'm just like, okay, you did it, good. Like, and I'm just like talking myself through it, and it's just ridiculous, and that kind of helps me too. Like
That does. Oh my gosh. You know, because it's like, okay, so you're working. All right, oh yeah, you just made the passage. You know, it's so
you're like,
yeah, it's like
like,
if there was somebody like recording what you say while you like, we just